Hello everyone, welcome to the first video on this channel. Recently, Valorant released a new map called Summit, and my findings have been that Cypher is actually really broken. So today I will show you what I found, and I hope you guys will enjoy.
Nothing stays hidden from me.
Cypher is definitely the strongest sentinel on this map. Playing other sentinels is obviously going to be fine, but there's just a lot of value that you can get out of Cypher, and I will show you exactly why. The first thing that people will notice is this trip right here. This is what we call an unbreakable trip.
This goes here.
Which you can only break by walking into the trip and getting scanned. So this makes it really hard for attackers to push you on site, and it's generally just whenever this trip shows up, Cypher will be really strong. Another thing for this site, which I find to be really strong, is if you come up into heaven and you look at this bulge in the window, pull out your cam, jump throw. You have a camera that shows you the entirety of site, main, and even into link. While rotating, it is also pretty easy to pick up, because you can like pick it up from back. The other camera that I found was one right here. If you come onto the edge of this box, you look at the little nook below the roof, pull out your camera, jump throw, you get a camera that shows you link, cubby, site, and into main as well, for early info, regardless of where the attackers are coming from. Yesterday I was experimenting with my friends, because it is actually possible to create an on-site one-way right here. If you walk into this corner and make sure you can't move anywhere else, then you're gonna want to line up this line right here and this part of your HUD like so. You throw your cage, and it lands right here, creating a one-way or with a view. You can also throw this cage from main if you come over here and you throw it like so.
Cage triggered.
A defensive one way that I found is if you stand in this corner, making sure you can't move any further, and you aim towards the sky. If you have your cam placed, you can line this part up this corner. However, you could also use your camera icon like so. In this corner, you throw your cage and it lands right there.
Cage triggered.
Another one way. A few other trips on the B side that are quite useful are ones like these.
Wow, this is a nice spot.
Where you could play off the cage.
Cage triggered.
If you push, they will get tripped. You can shoot them again. On-site trips will generally be really strong.
Yes, this should do.
Places like this, they're quite hard to break, hard to see as well. Close to sites, always be running into here. Placing a trip like
this is a nice spot.
Strong as well. Having a trip like this, however, you will notice that placing two trips close together will actually hinder you in some scenarios. Generally, the way I set up, I have a floor trip and the main trip, then a cage like this, and sometimes a cage like this, obviously with my camera active as well, allowing me to hide behind see whatever's going on. Cage. If you jump place your camera on the side, you can see into main as well. But this camera will be very easy to spot, as it is kind of just right there in the open, compared to up there hiding behind the ledge. Now, heading over to the A site. The A site is a bit more open and spacious than the B site, which in my opinion makes it a little bit harder to actually play on as a sentinel, because sentinels thrive in smaller spaces. Basic trips that you can do include
Yes,
this one,
this should do. Yes,
this
this
one,
should do.
and this
That
one
goes
right
there.
here. These trips kind of create this spider web where enemies are gonna have to respect the space that you have, including a one-way. Shout out to Valorant Tanner. He used the stars, but it's actually easier if you line this part of your HUD with the point on the mountain. And it lands right
Cage
there.
triggered.
401. The camera on this site is quite strange because you can place it in quite a big amount of spots. You can just place it next to the door, get a good view of sights. However, I found that having it like this is actually quite good, because it's hard to spot for the enemies due to this box being there, but you'll be able to see into main quite a lot. As you can see, if I'm still in front of the trips, I'm still the camera also watches link, which is something that my teammates generally forget to do, which also just helps me play on site better. And even if you leave site, you can just leave your camera here, and if they try to lurk up through here or through A, you have your camera spotting both lanes at once, like so. Now, on the attack side, Cypher's job is to make sure that defenders
Are we going
don't
to get the
take space
spider?
away from you. So you're gonna
This goes here.
into main. The first strip is very straightforward. You can place it anywhere on the wall, as long as it's on the crouch head height to make sure they can jump over it or go under it. The trip for A main is actually not where you could think it is, because you cannot place it anywhere here, and placing it right here is an issue.
This goes here. Yalla, Machina.
Enemy players can actually jump over this trip. So what you're gonna want to do is remove the trip
This goes here.
here, creating a space where they cannot cross without tripping or shooting it. When lurking, I found that lurking from mid-top is easiest with a camera like this, where you can see into A-link and into mid-bottom, and even window. I made a few cage lineups as well to make sure you're able to cross into these spaces if you'd like. The first one is from this part of the wall, aiming slightly outside of the wall, just a little bit higher, throwing it over the wall so it lands right here. And the other cage is just a step to the side, aiming at the plant, and it's right there. Now, if you want to cross into either link, you can
Cage
pop
triggered.
this cage to cover this, and once you get to this box,
Cage triggered.
second, you can lurk in A, you can cross into the mid, shooting the door, or even going through window to lurk through the bomb. When lurking from mid tiles, I personally wouldn't recommend it. However, if you do want to, there are 2 cameras you can use, because you won't actually be able to see both sides. You can pop your cam right here on the top, spotting bottom mid, but not being able to see into link. Or you could put it right here, spotting link, but without being able to see. To get yourself across mid from here, you should probably try to lurk into bottom mid, and if you look above this nook, throw your cage, it lands right here,
Cage triggered.
this kind of natural smoke, allowing you to just walk past without actually being seen. If I throw it a little bit further to the left, you'll be able to see as well how it actually covers. If you throw it too far to the left, it will hit the roof.
Cage triggered.
Like this. You're not going to be spotted. Lurking on Cypher is definitely really strong on this map, due to the amount of lanes that there are in the defense. Personally, I like to try to find a kill in mid, and then head for either link,
Cage
take
triggered.
one side off, walk through, try to clear sights, maybe kill right that side, and then try to find a kill in their spawn, maybe even completely wrapping them. While we're already in this space, one of the things I like to do to retake the site, whichever side that may be, if I'm attacking or defending, I want to get to site. But there is a natural crossfire that happens in cave. What thing you can do is actually throw your cage through this window, and then once you get to this point,
Cage triggered.
the cage, you kind of just work yourself across here. You're able to fight for sight. Bomb should be planted somewhere like
Plant the spike.
here usually, and you can either defuse or defend the wall, depending on the thing. A few things that do happen in ranked as well. I'm diamond, so tripping
This goes
both
here.
main and link is something that might happen due to the fact that a lot of teammates just ignore comms and don't watch space that you expect to be watched. Maybe in higher elo people watch link properly, but if they don't, you don't want to get shot from the back. Alright, that's gonna be it for now. Thank you guys for watching, and if you'd like to see more of this, then let me know.